Okay, so this is a two-part series. It's going to be like an ode to the people that stuck with me through my weird random suspension, which I'm not sure what that was about, and also my absence of videos in a while. So this is my bridal look, a twist on a classic bridal. Not every bride wants to wear pink and brown, so I thought this would be a beautiful bridal look. Part 1 is the face, part 2 is the eyes and lips. Cheeks, I just used NARS Orgasm Blush, and then I showed you the contour in the other video. I hope you enjoy. Bye. Okay, so first thing I do is mist my entire face with Fix Plus. I have the Fix Plus Rose. It doesn't matter whether you have the regular or the Fix Plus Rose. And when I say my, I mean the bride's face. Then what I do is I take my Strobe lotion. If you have drier skin or if your bride has drier skin, you can use the Strobe cream. So I just put that all over my face. And this is nice as like a moisturizer. My face has already obviously been moisturized with my regular everyday moisturizer. But I like to have extra hydration right before I'm going to do the makeup. And not only that, this helps work in that Fix Plus and just hydrate the skin, leave it really dewy and ready for your foundation. And you can see how hydrated my skin is. Now it's not oily, it's just hydrated, okay? There we go. So the next thing I'm going to take is my Face and Body Foundation. What I love about this is that it photographs. You do have to shake it quite well because it does settle, but it looks phenomenal in photographs. And I just put a couple drops on my hand, same foundation brush, and this is very much so a foundation that you have to layer. So I know I've tried this a bunch of different times and I didn't understand how to use it because everyone was saying that it's this great foundation and I was using it going, what are you guys talking about? I can't get any coverage out of it. It's crappy. I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I figured out you let it dry, put another coat on. Now the reason it's worth, a lot of people would be like, oh, that's going to take too long, it's totally not worth it. Because if you're doing a photo shoot for a bride, it's worth it, okay? Because it's a translucent foundation. So you're building up the coverage, but you can still see her skin through it. You can still see the texture of her skin. It's not going to look like makeup on the face. So you're just going to kind of let it set for a second and then start again on this side. And you can see we're getting a little bit better coverage every single time we apply this. So I usually, depending on the bride that I have, and I kind of press it onto the skin. So again, depending on the bride that I have, it depends on her skin. If she's really, really, you know, inflamed skin or skin that needs extra coverage, this foundation, sometimes I'll use like a base of another foundation with a little bit more coverage to it. But this one is so phenomenal. It does have quite a shine to it, so you do have to powder it down. And but anyway, face and body is where it's at, and then I just kind of stipple any extra on the areas that she needs it. Just like that. Okay. And then what I do, I use two colors of concealer. I use one, the lighter one, for underneath my eyes, and then I use the other one to match my face, because underneath my eyes I want a little bit of a highlight, not much of a highlight. It's not like I want to have white under eyes, especially in a picture. So it's got to almost match your skin tone exactly. And I got this new brush. This is the 165. I really like it because you could use a 224. I like that one more for kind of powdering, but this one really buffs everything out. You can bring the color kind of a lot farther down. I like to have a little bit of a highlight right here for my powder as well, or for my concealer, sorry. So I like this one because it's fast and it buffs everything out. So I just dot on my concealer and then My brush is still shedding a little bit, but yeah, dot on my concealer. And then I'm going to take the darker color, which is the NW20, and that one I'm just going to dot on my problem areas or her problem areas. I like my cheeks to be a little bit more covered, a little extra coverage on the nose because it gets shinier. And this stuff, I usually try to work very fast with it, and that's another reason I like the brush too, because this stuff does dry fairly quickly. But you can see how as it dries down, that face and body, it doesn't look as shiny and wet, but it looks like real skin. And that's the other reason I like to use these liquid concealers. They're more translucent. They translate better on a camera than something that's a thick, heavy cream. You're going to see that, especially if it's an HD camera. That's going to be no good. Then I'm using my Mineralized Skin Finish Natural, and I'm actually using a 136, which is a paddle brush. It's very thin, which is great for applying color because it really gives you a lot more control when you're putting the product. So I just dip it in, kind of pat it. You can see how much I have on there, and then I kind of tap it off a little bit, and then just patting this color onto the skin so that you're not getting crazy amounts of powder on the skin, but you're pressing it in, so it's gonna last, it's gonna stay, and it's going to look natural. So I kind of press it in and then feather it away. I avoid my under eye area because I have different powder for that. And again, you can do this and be pressing it into the skin, messing up your bangs. Don't do that when you're on a photo shoot. Hairstylist gets mad. And just really making sure that you are getting that coverage that you want, and you're matting that face and body down without taking away that realism of the skin. You want it to look like skin. Skin isn't totally matte. Skin isn't totally shiny. I say this is for brides, but some brides want a little bit more coverage, and that's totally fine. You want to tailor it to the bride that you're working on. This doesn't go over everything. Then I like to use my Benefit Powder Flush with a 224 brush right underneath the eyes and I kind of smooth out anything that got into the little wrinklies under there. I should say lines. They're not really wrinkles, they're just lines that you have when you're a baby even. And just make sure you've set that powder well, because you don't want, when you start to do her eyes, that powder from the eyes to fall down. Okay? Now this is such a simple, easy look for a bride, and that's really what you want when you're doing them. So then I'm going to take my Mineralized Skin Finish in medium deep, and that's going to be my contour. Now you can either use, this brush was actually sold for a contour brush. I love my 109 for my contour brush. Wherever I put it, here it is. And I like using these Mineralized Skin Finishes for contour because, again, they give that same real effect to the skin. You're not putting a totally different texture on the skin that's going to trick the camera and really notice what's on there, if that makes sense. If you can see different, you know, textures, that's really great for a photo shoot because you want that dimension, you want that fun, you want that, you know, that difference. But when you're in a wedding photo, you don't want to see the makeup at all. You don't want to notice the difference between the texture of the powder of your contour as opposed to, say, the rest of your face or your blush. There we go. Just kind of contouring that in. So I have these in all different colors, these skin finishes, because I think they're fantastic. The dark is quite dark, but I use this sometimes for a bronzer on someone who's a little bit darker as well. So that is my bridal face. I hope that was helpful to some of the people who are doing makeup for weddings, and also for some of the people that are doing makeup for their own wedding. They're trying to learn how and stuff like that. So hope you enjoyed. Bye.